Attaining high performance in anything in life, whether it's personally, whether it's professionally, whether it's on a sports field, requires two things: action and reflection. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I oftentimes am very good at the first part. In other words, I kind of prefer the first part is action and just trying a bunch of stuff. I want to be successful, I want to get results, but it can be difficult sometimes to practice the second part, which is reflection. And I want to present to you one simple method to help you reflect on your own leadership development and on your own behaviors and on your own mindset as a leader. Now, it's important for us to put this in its proper context. Reflection needs to be a habit. And in terms of habits, there's nothing more powerful than what's known as a keystone habit. Keystone habits are small actions, small habits that we do. And when we do them, they tend to reinforce a positive self-image, and they tend to lead to other positive and reinforcing habits. So for instance, we know that eating healthy is really important for being overall healthy and for weight loss. But I know for me personally, a keystone habit is exercising. When I exercise, it tends to lead to other more positive things. Whereas, even just eating healthy doesn't always lead to exercise. Okay. Another really simple keystone habit example would be making your bed in the morning. If you make your bed in the morning, it tends to be the very first thing that you accomplish in the morning, which then hopefully will snowball and lead to a series of other positive habits that you do. It also enforces the positive identity that you're an organized person, right? That you care about making sure things are organized. And so what I want to show you is one simple tool, indeed, one simple tool that will help reinforce the keystone habit of leader development, which is reflection. And so to go there, I want to turn your attention. If you have the worksheet that you've downloaded, I want to turn your attention to this worksheet right here. It's called Mental Replay. Now, what I encourage you to do is, if you're watching this video, I want you to just pause the video and I want you to think of a recent communication situation you had. The situation could have been a one-on-one situation. Maybe you were facilitating a meeting. Maybe you were having a disagreement with somebody at work. Maybe it was with one of your kids, maybe with a spouse or with a friend. It could be anything. Maybe you gave a presentation in the workplace. I want you to pause it. I want you to flip this sheet over or grab a blank sheet of paper, and I just want you to write that situation down. Write the situation down. What were the effects? How well did it go? Was it positive? Was it negative? Go ahead and pause it and write that down. Okay, now what I want to show you is I want to show you how you can use this tool right here. And let me provide a little bit of context for it. What do high performing athletes, think quarterbacks, what do they do in between plays and especially after games? They watch film of themselves performing. Peyton Manning, for instance, was one of the most famous, one of the most well-known athletes for watching a lot of film. Like, you would always see him on the sideline and he was thumbing through pages, right? He actually liked the hard copy, reading through. Now you see athletes on the side, quarterbacks on the side, looking through tablets, right? The tablets to watch their performance. The point is, it was important for athletes, it's important for Peyton Manning to perform, to have action, and then be able to zoom out and sort of almost like an offensive or defensive coordinator would do if they're sitting up in the booth. They want to be able to watch from a different point of view. But as individuals, as communicators, as people who, in the workplace, it's hard for us to zoom out. We don't exactly have film of ourselves unless you give a presentation and watch yourself presenting. So what this tool does is it's meant to simulate the process of watching film, right? So consider this to be a leadership reflection tool that allows you to game film, if you will, your own performance. It's called Mental Replay. So really simple. I think when you look through the worksheet, it'll be fairly self-explanatory. But you take that situation that I just encourage you to write down, or get into the habit of reflecting immediately after any given situation. So print out a bunch of these, and right after you give a presentation, have a conversation with somebody. Practice with folks around the house as you have a conversation with your spouse or with a friend or with a neighbor. And you sit down immediately and you fill out this worksheet. So what you'll do, if you're looking at the worksheet from left to right, is you'll describe what happened in this situation. You'll notice there's a little icon of a camera right there. You're just gonna describe what happened as objectively as you could, the way that a camera would capture that, right? If it was a neutral third party that was capturing what happened there, you describe what happened. Describe what happened, what were the results and outcomes. So let's say you had a conflict with a coworker. You would describe what happened. He or she, we got into a little bit of an argument, we got heated. Some of the results were we both stormed away, we were both frustrated, we were both mad. Or it could be a positive situation as well. Then the second part is the reflection piece. More specifically, the whole thing's about reflection, but we're going to dig in there. You see that there's a brain right there. So here we're going to process what you were thinking, what you said and did as well, right? To kind of reflect back on that, get you to step out of that. You're also going to reflect on your feelings. What was kind of bubbling up under the surface? Were you getting frustrated? Were you sort of did you feel yourself kind of pulling away and detaching a little bit? So first step is the situation. Second step is the reflection. Third step is this is really important. We're gonna make a shift from describing what happened to getting a sense of some insights we might have. So the light bulb moments that we can reflect on it and notice in that situation. So perhaps we're gonna start making some connections to some habits and some patterns. Maybe that looks like I notice that every time I have a conversation with this person, I get frustrated, or we never talk for more than 3 minutes because one of us blows up. So, your habits and your patterns, what would be some lessons and takeaways that you want to be able to apply to that as well? The last step we see is action. Okay, so this is we're going to make some commitments to ourselves. Next time, I'm going to make sure that I want to encourage you to write 3 action steps, 3 things under that next time I will. So again, just to recap here, leadership development, really any kind of development requires action and it requires reflection. A lot of us have a bias for action if we're in positions of leadership. We want to just keep trying stuff. We want to be effective. We want to get results. But we can't forget to take a step back and really reflect on our behavior, reflect on our communication, and really reflect on how we show up to each other. And I believe that reflection is the keystone habit. And I believe that this is perhaps the one tool you'll ever need to be able to be good at reflection, to be able to develop your skills as a leader.